Hey, are you looking for a Halloween D&D encounter?
How about a trip into the Weird Wood and the lair of the Hags Apprentice?
Hey folks, Nerdarchist Dave here from Nerdarchy, for Nerds by Nerds, and today I'm hanging out with
Nerdarchist Ted.
Welcome to Nerdarchy, a place for news, views, and homebrews for 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons, as well as other role-playing games.
Don't forget to crit hit that subscribe button and attune to that notification bell.
So today we're going to build a D&D encounter. It's kind of themed towards Halloween. It is that time of year. The season is upon us. We're going to get this one up just before Halloween so you guys can maybe introduce it into your game for Halloween. If not, any spooky themed game, this will work. I think it's going to be a fun encounter. You guys are going to really enjoy it.
All right, so if we're going to build this Halloween encounter, we don't want to jump right in and get to the nitty-gritty details. So what kind of rumors do we think we would have going on for something like this?
Well, we could get into that, or we could kind of talk about the genesis for the idea a little bit.
Okay, let's start off with that to give you guys a little bit of a teaser as to what's going to be coming.
A little bit of background. So one of the things I think the main premise for this video, it's a little silly, but Nerditor Doug just had his little Nerditor heart set upon doing something with a witch's hat.
All right, well that can be taken in a lot of different ways. Magic item that can make some kind of changes. You got witch's hat, that means magic. We talked that it's the Hags Apprentice. So where are you going with this? All
right, so this idea actually was spawned during the Roper Wrangler, which you can find that in our video catalog, or even the encounter itself over on the DM's Guild as a pay what you want product. And this one I think you're going to be able to find over on the Nerdarchy store itself. There will be a link in the description for you to check out and download it if you like. So I guess let's just start with the rumors like you were talking about before. We'll get into that. We were figuring on the fringe of society, a village with a spooky wood near it. Maybe we're just affectionately referring to it as the Weird Wood right now.
So I think our first one is going to be Beware the One Eyed Witch Hagitha.
Yes, absolutely. So, rumor has it that Hagitha has been spotted in the Weird Wood, and you should probably stay away from there. The next one we have is watch out for the rattling hunchback on the hill. So, there's a wooded area, but there's also a hill, and sometimes, noises come from this spooky hill, and some people have reported seeing a hunchback up there.
So, we've got the witch, we've got the hunchback, but we've also got, Beware the Moaning Bat.
Yes. I hear rumor has it that this giant bat can be seen, fluttering amongst the trees or even in the trees and making these horrific, hellish sounds.
And then, you got that nice, moonlit silhouette to go with it. It could be pretty startling, seeing something like that.
Absolutely. Turns out I'm the goddamn Batman. So, and then finally we have our final rumor. Look out for the eye gorger in the Weird Wood. Reportedly, it will eat the left eye out of anything.
So, in the Weird Wood, it's got this whole weird, creepy feeling that the creatures that inhabit or are there long enough wind up only having one eye.
Beware the eye gorger. So, there are just some of the rumors we came up with because it's fun to have, and all of them have little grains of truth to them so that your players can use. And, if they don't figure anything out from the beginning, that's okay. Later on, oh, that's where that rumor came from. And also it gives them an opportunity to maybe explore the village and talk to villagers. And also the villagers are going to keep warning them to stay out of the Weird Wood. And what is any player going to do once you warn them to stay away from a thing?
They want to go there.
They want to go there, of course.
We got one more rumor to talk about, and that is, rumor has it, the perfect dice rolling company for all of your dice rolling needs is Easy Roller Dice. So, there it is.
Easy Roller Dice, whether it's your first set of dice or your 1 millionth set of dice. Easy Roller Dice for all your dice rolling needs. Down in the description below, you can find a one-time coupon code as well as a link to easyrollerdice.com/nerdarchy. We want to thank them for sponsoring this video and being an official Nerdarchy sponsor.
But you know what else you're going to find there? Down in that description is also going to be a link to that Gleam contest where you can be able to win all kinds of awesome Easy Roller Dice products.
Easy Roller Dice. So with that, moving away from the rumors and the best dice on the market, we are going to kind of start breaking down the encounter and kind of the idea. Like we said, Doug had his heart set on building an encounter around a witch's hat. But not only that, this happened in our Roper Wrangler, where we had adventurers being beaten by monsters wielding other monsters. So we kind of wanted to play with that a little bit more. In this case, we're going to have the Hags Apprentice.
So I think the concept evolved into, as opposed to monsters beating things with monsters, it was monsters wearing monsters.
That is exactly it. So we have a witch's hat, and we also have our quote-unquote witch wearing kind of like a cape or a cloak in this case. And, you know, we were looking at different kinds of monsters, and we needed the monsters to be large because our witch's hat is rather on the biggest side for a medium-sized creature.
Indeed. So we were looking at the witch's hat being a dark mantle.
Yes. You know, it just kind of has that look. And instead of looking like a stalactite, it's going to just have, you know, its tentacle and that webbing it has always kind of stuck out. So it's going to like be a hat with like fringes on it. And it's going to be sitting on top of a cyclops.
So we already have that whole concept of, you know, a one-eyed creature. You know, hags are known to either have, you know, one eye or no eyes.
Or share an eye.
Or share an eye. So we thought it'd be really fun and interesting to really take the Cyclops, a rather unimpressively intelligent monster, you know, be the central figure for this Hags Apprentice.
Yeah, they have a low intelligence, 8, not super low, but low, but an even lower wisdom, so they're not wise at all. Because we're going with the Hags Apprentice, we're like, well, she'd probably be a female. I think the Hags would capture a female for their purposes. And, you know, the idea is they were actually raising this Cyclops baby as their daughter because eventually they were going to kind of sacrifice the Cyclops and remove the eye. Maybe they would have kept her alive, maybe not. But they wanted to make a special Hag's eye out of the Cyclops' eye.
Yeah, it could have been a rare special, you know, Hag's eye that granted more powers or additional powers because it was something that, you know, that they raised, that they, you know, created this item. And of course, you know, hags, it's evil, so they removed it from a living creature. Would just, you know, get into that, you know, whole sick feeling as well. But something wound up transpiring with the hags. They bit it. Now that the hags area is left to the Cyclops.
Yeah, so, you know, probably, you know, adventurers moved in. They came in, they murdered the hags, as they do. Poor Hagitha was left to her own devices. So she did the best she could. You know, she adopted this dark mantle and started wearing it around. A cloaker moved in to keep her warm and cozy. It turns out the cloaker is kind of the brains of the bunch. And she's kind of formed her own coven with her hat and her cloak. And we had some other ideas you could throw around as well.
Well, the great thing about the cloaker is like with the mouth being like right there against the, you know, the neck, it's right near the ear. So it could whisper to the hag, to the Cyclops as often as it wanted.
Now, we had this idea too that the Cyclops, Hagitha, she really does see herself as being one of the hags and you know, looked at those as hags as being her mothers. So she's taken over the hag's hut and she uses it to create her own witch's brew. What exactly is that? We don't know. She just mixes things that she finds in the forest or in the hut into it. Sometimes she gets help or not quite so helpful assistance from her hat, the Dark Mantle, which is really just the Dark Mantle's tentacles like moving around and throwing things in. So sometimes ingredients end up in the witch's brew that Hagitha wasn't originally intending.
Now, typically, hags have all kinds of nasty stuff, you know, in their area, in their lair. And they tend to exist in places where dark stuff is going to grow naturally. And if the Cyclops has been around a while, she's witnessed the different stuff that the hags have collected. So even if the adventurers have taken some things from the lair, she can still go and collect it.
Yeah, she can replenish them. So, so we had some ideas. Now, our Dark Mantle is only half a CR. Our Cyclops is only a 6. And our Cloaker is an 8. So we kind of figured out this encounter, and we like the idea, like, when the players kind of discover Hagitha in her hut, she's like brewing away, she's mixing the cauldron, the Dark Mantle is knocking things off the table, off the shelf, into there. So every round there's a different magical effect that we randomly roll to see what could happen.
Since the Dark Mantle is, throwing things in, maybe adding some different stuff, we thought, well, what if they had a darkness effect, but as opposed to, it's centering on the Dark Mantle as they normally do, what if it actually acted as if the darkness spell, so it could be done at range?
Yeah, it appears somewhere as to kind of hinder the players. The Dark Mantle, the Dark Mantle kind of perceives them as a threat, throws it out there at the range of its blind sight. And then I also kind of see, Hagitha's like stirring away. Maybe she picks up a rock occasionally, throws it at one of the players. If they get too close, she can whack them with that ladle as if it was a club. But we also have some other effects that we're looking at. So we came up with 5 different effects. Darkness is just one of them. What else do we got?
We got a wall of fog. I mean, let's face it. Anytime you're cooking something up, it's very easy for an area to fill and obscure a lot of area. And
that wall of fog is actually a confusion effect. So if the players try and cross it, they're going to have to make some saving throws. Next up, we have this, the idea of this whirlpool that the cauldron actually starts sucking things in, which is not good for Hagitha. But she's experienced with this cauldron, and she knows just what to do when this happens. She just tilts it forward, and it begins sucking things in to the cauldron from the other side of her, preferably where the player characters are.
We also have a fear effect that is only going to target humanoids. This will be really great, because typically that's what adventurers are. And, the Cyclops, the Dark Mantle, and the Cloaker are obviously not going to have a problem with it.
It's going to be kind of scary. The last thing is the idea of Hagitha's victims. Maybe the hags themselves have all found their way into this cauldron. And if things get too close, once again, she tilts the cauldron forward, and skeletal arms and zombie hands begin reaching out to pull things into the cauldron. Anything that gets pulled into the cauldron could be exposed to fire damage from, scalding, from it being scalding. Maybe they have to worry about being drowned. In the product itself, we'll actually come up with the ideas and the effects and how it will interact with the players. But, you can just look at the spell lists and kind of eyeball some effects if you're DMing this and you want to run it in your game.
The last thing that we have here is when the Cyclops winds up getting to half her hit points.
She does the rage flip.
She does the rage flip. She grabs the cauldron and she flips it over. It's going to, essentially give off a thunder wave, causing some damage, knocking people back. But she's going to focus it on one person. And that person, has the chance of getting trapped inside the cauldron itself. And how humorous would that be to have the fight keep going and one person is stuck in this massive cauldron?
Yeah, so we're just kind of reskinning the thunder wave spell. And, maybe it'll either do fire damage or bludgeoning damage as the liquid kind of pushes against people and burns them. That one person is going to have to worry about getting trapped. It just becomes an interesting hazard. And then once they're trapped inside of it, then they're going to have to figure out how to get it off of them, whether they have to push it off, break it, or, someone else in the party is going to have to lift it. We thought it'd be kind of interesting and cool. In the meantime, anytime the players get too close, you have the Dark Mantle to contend with. You also are going to have that Cloaker. It has a moan ability, doesn't affect aberrations. We're thinking Hagitha's been around this Cloaker long enough. It probably doesn't affect her anymore either. And, it also has that tail attack that it can lash out and attack with, or it can, take to the air and begin harassing the party as well. And I don't know if you've noticed this, but we have this idea that all the rumors kind of tie back to this encounter. Hagitha, the one-eyed, she's one-eyed because she's a Cyclops. So there's a regional effect. that we discussed.
So that was all of the creatures in the forest that have the one eye missing. Some of them could be born that way. Some of them could have been attacked. But since we like to make things thematic, it'd be really awesome if you had all of these creatures in this area only have one eye to kind of attribute back to Hagitha.
Yeah, it's like Hagitha's curse on the land or something along those lines. So the idea also is she likes to take her cauldron around and she brews in different places, sometimes up on the hill. And, so she has to strap that cauldron to her back with chains that rattle.
But if the cloaker winds up, letting go, then her little pet's not really being supervised. So the cloaker is over top of the cauldron. So that's where the rattling comes from. That's why it's a hunchback, because it's walking like this with this big, massive cauldron on it. And as you could kind of guess it, the Moaning Bat, that's the cloaker.
The cloaker did it, clearly. So what do you guys think? Would you use an encounter like this in your game? You can go check it out over on Nerdarchy, the store. We got a place where we can discuss it. That's down in the comments below. While you're at it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
While you're down there, don't forget to stop by the description and check out the link to Easy Roller Dice and that contest.
So until next time,
stay nerdy.